Straight out of James Bond, how do we combat espionage in today's day and age? I'm Mike Loader. Ending Cyber Risk starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome back to Ending Cyber Risk, presented by the team at Arctic Wolf, where each episode we unpack the ways we can put an end to risky cyber behaviour. On this episode we discuss cybersecurity's role in rising geopolitical tensions, and joining me to outline what is going on is Adam Marrè, Chief Information Security Officer at Arctic Wolf. Wonderful to have you with us. Why does the West need to pay attention to China's cyber espionage campaigns? We see more of these stories in the news each and every day. Tell us more.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Many leaders in the United States, including Christopher Wray, who is the director of the FBI, have been raising the alarm at the increasing number of attacks and the increasing sophistication of attacks coming out of China on infrastructure in nations around the world. And recently there was also an indictment in the United States, and joined by folks in the UK, really outlining what China's been doing to try to hack individuals and organizations throughout the United States, and including critical infrastructure.
Yeah, and now this is something new. I feel like this has always been history. You know, countries have been spying on each other and whatnot. But is there enough being done to thwart these campaigns and I guess other offensive cyber activity ahead of events with large international implications like the presidential election, the Olympics, the World Cup, things like that?
Yeah, so we've had hundreds of years to come up with rules of war, rules of engagement on all the other kinds of espionage and possible conflict between nations. But cyber is something new. And in fact, many people are calling this a cyber Cold War, where nations are attacking each other, but they don't have a war formally declared. And indeed, that's what's happening. Another thing that's really interesting in this is that the borders of nations have become a lot different, because it's not just the land borders. We have people now in cyberspace attacking organizations. That organization may be in a country, but of course the internet isn't really just in that country. So organizations and even individuals have to understand they make up the border now in cyberspace between them and other nations. And so we need to do more to try to make sure we're protecting ourselves, because that's also protecting our nations and our allies.
Yeah. Adam, I'm curious to know, what are the challenges that officials face in detecting and of course prosecuting the threat actors behind these attacks? Is it really hard because they're within different borders and different parts of the world? Take us through a little bit more.
Yeah, attribution is always one of the most difficult things to get in a cyber crime or cyber espionage investigation. You're always trying to find who it is behind the keyboard. So the more information that you can have when you're doing an investigation, the more accurate you're going to be in trying to figure out who is conducting that activity. So you've got to look at things as such things as their tactics, techniques, and procedures. You've got to look at their objectives, what kind of technologies, malware, things like that they're using, to try to then trace back who is doing that attack and why. And then you can really bring forth things like, indictments or international prosecution or other diplomatic means to try to address those attacks.
Okay, so these geopolitical issues are obviously very, very complex, but what are the steps that businesses should be taking to protect themselves from these nation-state attacks? It's interesting that they almost have to play a patriotic part just by running their company and being responsible in their own way.
Yeah, and that's right. It's because the border in cyberspace, really any company is on the border for their nation. So they have to play a role in protecting their country, or just the West, or even just people wanting to do honest business. They've got to protect that. And the first step is realizing that they could and probably are a target of various organizations, nation-state sponsored organizations around the world. And that's the first step, understanding that you're a target. Then after that, the good news is the same kind of things will give you a strong cybersecurity program that will protect against cyber criminals, will also protect against nation states. It's things like making sure you have good identity management, things like multi-factor authentication, strong passwords, password managers, things like that. It's having a good patching program, making sure that you're keeping all of your hardware and software up to date so vulnerabilities can't be exploited. It also means you having a really good cyber awareness campaign for your employees to make sure that they're aware and can alert you of anything that they might detect that could be an attack.
Very well said by you. Adam, I want to thank you for joining us on the program. And as always, I like to ask where people can go if they do want to engage with your services and get some help with all of this, because as we know, it's ever changing and you guys have your fingers on the pulse.
We'd be happy to help individuals, organizations looking for some help with their cybersecurity. You can go to our website, arcticwolf.com. We also have phone numbers there. People can call in and we can get started right away.
Beautiful stuff from you, Adam. Thanks for keeping me company and explaining all of this in great detail.
Thank you.
All right, that's the program for the moment. Some good advice there, things to keep an eye out for. Go and change your password, add two-factor authentication, get on it. I cannot recommend it enough when it comes to this day and age. I look forward to seeing you again very soon right here on Ticker. Be well.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.